Hello, welcome. Welcome everyone. Oh gosh, it's so nice to see you all. Oh, hi. Gosh, take each other in. These are the women that you've been journeying alongside this week. Oh, gosh, it's so nice to see you all. I'm just going to take a moment to socially center myself. Whew. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. God, may you all run businesses where the women turn up on the screen and this is your response. My goodness. Hello, beautiful women. Hi. Taking you all in. Welcome, welcome. And welcome if you did the 5-day mini challenge, and welcome if you're just arriving now to this. Don't worry if you didn't take part. I'm going to recap everything that we've done and we're going to put it together into a really sort of condensed, powerful version where we get to do it together and see one another. Yeah. Oh, shall we all arrive in our bodies? First of all, this helped me land and be able to do what I'm going to do. It also means that we can all sort of arrive a bit more fully together. So have a quick look around the space that you're in. And notice where you've chosen to sit for this session today. Feel your feet on the floor and your bum on the chair, anywhere in which you're connected to the earth. And invite any parts of your body that are holding against gravity, holding against support, the offer of letting go. And from there, from that rooted connection, bringing your awareness up the body, up the spine, to the top of the head. And letting the front of the body be soft. Soft face, soft jaw, soft belly. Maybe one more time up the back of the body. And then very gently opening back up again to the women on the screen. And I would love to hear where you are in the world. I'd love for you to just introduce yourselves to everyone. Where are you arriving from today? It might be very early over in America, or it might be getting quite late. Brussels, sorry. I'm in Norwich in the east of England. Yeah, pick up the Norwich massive. Edinburgh, Berlin, Vancouver, oh God, Venice. Oh, I love Venice. Winchester, Finland. God, amazing. Ramsgate, woo. Vermont, Tennessee. Oh my goodness, welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. Isn't it amazing? Like when I first started doing this work, like women from, you know, West Coast America right through to Singapore, Australia, the Ukraine, all had similar experiences. It was such a strong realization that what I'm going to talk about tonight goes across the board, across culture. Yeah, fantastic. So, oh my God, before I start, I really just want to say thank you to Jamie, my assistant. Yeah, give a wave, Jamie. You know, we talked in the mini series about not being able to do it alone and calling on support. My God, without this woman, none of this would happen. So I just really wanted to give Jamie some love. She's the tech brains behind all of this and so much more. So yeah, thanks, Jamie. Okay, so coming up tonight, I'm going to share with you my thoughts, my experience on why women experience so much fear in business, why you are not self-sabotaging, and we could just get rid of that whole framing of the situation. I'm going to explore the 3 keys to freedom that I've developed and found in my own experience and that I now work with thousands of women around, and how it can actually be a really healing path for women to step into entrepreneurship, yeah, and how you're actually at the forefront of something here. You're treading new ground, and that's not easy, but it's super important. Yeah. And we're going to do an embodied exploration. I'm going to invite you to take part if you would like to really feel what I'm trying to explain and explore. This will be a bit of a recap of what we did in the mini-series, but collectively together. And if you didn't do the mini-series, don't worry, just join in tonight. And then I'm going to tell you about this amazing course that I've developed, which takes all of this learning that we've been doing this week and takes it much deeper to really kind of transform these patterns and really create a foundation in your being, in your embodiment, upon which you can then build business strategies or dreams, ambitions, however you want to go with it. After that, I'm going to announce the prizes from the week, and I'll hang around at the end for a Q&A. So all of that will hopefully take an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'll happily hang around for any questions that you have and just to chat after that at the end. How does that sound? Sound like what you came for? Yeah, great. Oh, fantastic. I'm just going to switch screens so I can see you all. Just give me a second, take you all in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, but first of all, yeah, who am I and why am I teaching on this and what qualifies me to teach? So, I mean, most of you will probably know me, but I'm Erica. I'm a female empowerment coach, somatic teacher, meditation teacher, and I've worked in female empowerment all my career, really. My background is in human rights. I have a master's degree in citizenship, identities and human rights. I worked for big NGOs and the UK Parliament before becoming really disillusioned with how power works, and working frontline as a community development worker, social worker. Again, I really worked with women and also worked for a period of time in India amongst an ex-untouchable lower caste community of women. And then all of that and my own journey, which I'm going to speak to next, led me to Buddhism, which then led me to embodiment. And I believe in systemic change. I believe in political, social, financial, economic change for women. And I believe in personal change, you know, changing our habitual patterns, our conditioning, our minds, all in the pursuit of freedom and changing the world. I think the world is in the state that it is in because so much female talent is still not shared. And tonight I'm going to explore some of the reasons why it gets stuck and trapped and never finds its way out into the world, which I think is a travesty, and I think is the reason that we're in the mess that we are in. I come from a really deprived background. People are sometimes shocked around that. I come from a very deprived community and a place that was very stigmatized. So I grew up with a lot of shame about who I was and where I came from, never feeling good enough, always feeling like I needed to prove something in order to be valuable. You know, one of the reasons I'm a star student is because of that conditioning. And I really struggled with not feeling permissioned enough, good enough, you know, not being able to really claim my own dignity. And I was really talented, and yeah, I was very talented, really great social worker, but was always following someone else's lead, very, very happy to be in the background, not take up much space. Other people took the credit for my work, all of that sort of stuff. And so I really cannot believe, and I know like loads of people say this and it's so corny, but like I cannot believe that I'm now here doing what I do, running my own business, you know, speaking to you all, hosting these things. And it's because of this process that I'm going to take you through today that really allowed me to do that. Because before that, I did, you know, I had a burnout, I did all the healing work, I did the talk therapy, I read the self-help books, you know, I could have written a book on my issues, but what I didn't ever discover was like a tangible, practical way to be different in the world, you know? And once I did discover that and built it, everything became possible. And that's now what I teach women around the world, yeah? So That's me, that's what I do, and that's what we're going to touch a little bit on tonight. And I've broken it down really into a 3-part process. So I teach women how to know themselves, how to trust themselves, and then how to express and share themselves in the world. And each of those steps, it has a shape to it, has an embodiment to it. And once you know how to do that, and you can go deeper and deeper with each, I think I don't know if we ever arrive, and we're always going to be hopefully expanding. But once you know this and you can build on it, it can really be a foundation for moving forward. Yeah. Okay. Yes, like layers of an onion, like going deeper, and we don't stop. Once we get to expressing ourselves, we bring that back in and we come back to ourselves, and it's a cyclical process of development. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to dive in, because then that gives us hopefully about 15 minutes to have an experience of this, 45 minutes to have an experience of this. So just to say, one of the reasons that embodied work is so effective is because it can go deep very quickly, which means it can touch on sort of deeper layers and emotion. And that can be quite surprising. Like sometimes when I'm running through a workshop and I'm just practicing it, stuff can come up, yeah? So I just really want to say, go as deep with this as you feel resourced to do tonight. You're fine just to watch. You're fine to do a little bit of it and then stop. You're all going to get a recording of this. So if at any point you feel like, oh, this is a bit much, I'm a bit under-resourced, just stop, yeah? It's you'll get a lot from just watching it, and you'll all get a copy of the replay as well. So yeah, great. Okay, so let's dive in. What's your dream? So this whole thing is around women with big dreams but bigger fears. So let's start with your dreams. Yeah, so my dream is I want to run a successful business where I get to teach this to as many women as possible. I want to be financially abundant, but I want to see the world change by women really sharing their talents with it. I want women like you, soulful women whose work is healing to the world, to be the women who have financial independence, who are able to influence change, who shape the direction of my communities and the world, yeah? What's your dream? What's the thing that you want to do, the business you want to build? And don't worry if it's just a half-formed thing. We're going to touch on that it's not a clear idea. Feel free to pop it in the chat. I'd love to hear. I want to help women create the foundations in their lives so that they go on to do amazing things. I want to make a living from my art, yes. I want to give practices that help women change in confidence and go on to do their dreams. Burnout to on fire, I love that. To support other women to remember who they are and to tap into their gifts. Hopefully in the next 6 months, I'm going to leave my job to move to a family farm I inherited 2 years ago. I want to start a blog and document that adventure. I want to make a difference, to help others heal the way that I healed myself. We're going to touch on that. To help people create a life that they want to have. To help people heal trauma through Qigong. I can't keep up with them all. Gosh. I discovered new psychological treatment and want to give that voice in the world. Oh my goodness. Create well-being in our communities. Write healing words that connect people to nature inward and outward, and that expands reference. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they're going to keep coming in, but let's all just take a moment. Every time, I've done this a few times, but every time it's so moving. So just take a moment and imagine what the world would be like if all of these these dreams were big, you know, that all of these dreams took up space. I want midlife women who feel they are on the wrong track to reignite their passion for living. Yeah. So there's how many of us? Nearly 100 of us on the call. Just imagining like all of that goodness out into the world. Yeah. What if these businesses were as big as some of the destructive businesses out there, you know, the ones that create need where there isn't any, that exploit our greed, our hatred in order to sell us things. You know, imagine if these actually were the businesses that were financially successful and influencing the direction of things. Let's just take a moment to imagine that. Oh, yeah, amazing. Okay. Okay, I feel like that's enough. Let's all just dwell in this. But okay, so we've got all these dreams, and they're beautiful dreams, because the women that I work with have these amazing dreams, and they're about community, and they're about healing, and they're beautiful. But then we have these fears, yeah? So let's go there next. Let's just give voice, because it's super powerful to just see that we're not alone. What are the fears that come up for you in following this dream? Why are you not already living into this purpose? Not feeling credible enough, not feeling good enough. Yeah. Don't know enough, not good enough. Who am I to be doing this? Being judged, fear of being visible, fear of shame and criticism, imposter syndrome, fear of failure, and fear of succeeding. Yes, let's name that as well. Yeah. What if I get really visible? What if no one notices me? What if I'm too much? What if I'm not enough? That I am weird to want this? Who is going to listen to me? What if I'm wrong? Self-doubt, yeah. Disloyalty to a family line of scarcity. What if I'm too attractive? Yeah. Not feeling qualified enough. Fear of rejection. So again, let's just take a moment on with this 100 women on the call to just see, God, we're not alone. Yeah, there might be something bigger at play here. There might be something going on that is not to do with us, actually, because I hear this over and over again. And the last time I did this webinar, there was 1,000 women on it, and they were all saying the same thing. Yeah, just taking a moment to let that land, that lack of aloneness. And then finally, what's the delaying tactic? So in what ways are you staying stuck because of these fears? In what ways are you delaying having to confront these fears by doing something else? Yeah, perfectionism. I just need to finish my website. I just need to get my branding nailed. I just need to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing on paper before I do anything. Prioritizing other people's needs. Suddenly the housework needs to be done, or I need help my friends. Yeah, feeling overwhelmed. So that's often comes from intaking a lot of information, looking outside of us, another YouTube video, another Instagram branding course, whatever it is for you, comparing yourself to others. The oven needs cleaning. Exactly. God, there's never a tidier house than when I've got a deadline. Yeah, too much information, what to apply, feeling overwhelmed, getting distracted, feeling disempowered. Yeah, 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 feeling afraid. Waiting for someone else's needs to be met before it's your turn, putting other people first. It is mad. It is, well, it's not mad, it's conditioned, and that's what we're going to come on to. But when you see it out in front of you, you can see the collectiveness of it. Yeah, waiting to lose weight. Yeah, waiting. Someone was saying I'm too old. Another woman saying I've got to wait until I'm older so people respect me. You know. Yeah, right. All the time that we're doing all of this, these dreams aren't getting actioned. This healing isn't happening in the world. You're not fulfilling your potential and everyone else is missing out because of that. Yeah. Yes, I need to do more therapy. I'm going to come to that as well. Like getting like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Why do I keep self-sabotaging? Why do I keep getting in my own way? I just need to heal that. Need to do more healing. Need to do more healing until I'm really completely healed. And then I might be okay enough to share something with the world. Yeah. See that a lot. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, so have a shake. That was a lot of information. If you're feeling a bit charged or a bit like, oh, okay, shake that off. We don't need more of that, but it's good to get it out. Yeah. So we've got this prison wall of fears, and we've got what we do when we're caged inside of it. And fear comes, these fears arise when we start to push against the edges of our conditioning. This is what I work with the women that I work with. This is really my message that I want to get out to the world. You are not self-sabotaging. You're coming up against some old conditioning. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just check my notes. So this conditioning that I work with, I've called niceness. Niceness as opposed to kindness. And niceness being the way in which women and other marginalized, excluded communities over time have learned to exist in the world in order to stay safe. Yeah. So the messages that we inherit historically, generationally, from our culture that teach us what it means to be a woman. And if you imagine when you're born, you come out and you've got this full expression. You've got this full range of being. You're angry. You know what you want. You know what you don't want. You've got your anger. You've got this. This whole array of feelings, emotions, beingness. You've got your exuberance and your joy, and you've got your sadness, and at a certain point that meets culture. Boom. That meets the rules that we in our society that say what it is to be a woman, what it's not to be a woman. And certain parts of that expression get really praised and encouraged, and certain parts of that expression get really unpraised. What's the word I'm looking for? Get really pushed down, really excluded, crushed. Great, yeah. Get really crushed or unpermissioned, discouraged, thank you. Suppressed, exactly. So for example, and for women, often, and I'm speaking in generalizations obviously, but for women generally, we're not allowed to keep hold of our anger and our power and our sort of capacity to enact change, to bring about what we want. We get told to share and to be sweet and to play nicely, yeah? And we get discouraged from being assertive, aggressive, powerful, dominant, taking up much room, being loud, being bossy. Those parts get implicitly or explicitly told it's not okay, it's not okay, it's not okay. And the parts of us that are, obliging and sweet and, all of those more feminine characteristics get really encouraged. Yeah. Okay. That's another workshop. Okay. So, but what happens is that power, that sort of, internal assertiveness, this is who I am, this is the way in which we can create change in the world and to assert ourselves in the world. And when we lose access to that, and we have to deny it, we have to find another safety strategy. Yeah, it's a very sophisticated way in which we learn, in order to get our needs met, because we can't meet them ourselves, we get them met through other people. Yeah. So we learn to look towards other people to get our needs met. If I keep these people happy, then they love me. If I do what they want me to do, then I get what I need. Yeah? Is that ringing true? Yeah. And I'm just checking the chat. Yeah. Yeah, so codependency gets really encouraged, and being like overly concerned with other people. We know how to be super sensitive to others. We can read a room. Anyone else here know when there's a subtle shift in someone's mood or energy, and you're like, what's, yeah, lots of nodding. So we get super trained into doing that. And it's a way of keeping ourselves safe, yeah. The problem being, let me just check my notes. Yeah, so this is sort of this good girl conditioning, which means we look outside of ourselves, we disconnect from our own knowing, because it's very painful to have a sense of what we want and then have to abandon it. So we can often completely disconnect from that place. And it means we're sort of super reliant on other people. Yeah, we have over-reliance on other people's opinions, views, moods, determining how we are in ourselves, yeah. And it feels like life and death. It's got this reaction in the body where it feels like life and death, because at one point it did feel like that, yeah. So it creates kind of three kind of cages as I'm looking at them for this workshop. The first is being very orientated towards other people, yeah, very orientated towards others and disconnected from ourselves. The second is a smallness, yeah. Don't take up too much room, don't be too bold, don't make waves, keep the peace, squish yourself. And the third is don't be too visible. So like sort of hiding, keep back, let other people talk, find what other people want before stepping in, yeah. Yeah, yeah, too, yeah. Okay. So it's not good, it's not bad, it's just conditioned, yeah? We all have to stay safe in the world one way or the other, and this was our way of staying safe. The problem is when we try to do something differently, when we try to go against that conditioning, alarm bells start to ring that it's not safe, yeah? Our whole body systems sort of go, it's not safe to be here, it's not safe to do this different thing, yeah? And like I said, it's got this quality of kind of life and death to it at times. It can feel like really charged. And the thing is, entrepreneurship will bring you up against each of those pieces of conditioning. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to go against all of those ways that we learn to stay safe. It's like you are warrior women for wanting to do this. And it's exciting for the same reason that it's terrifying, yeah? Because it means that the path of entrepreneurship can also be a path of overcoming this conditioning and creating something different for future generations. It's like as we do something differently, we permission other women to do something differently. Yeah. And by the very nature that you want to be a female entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, it means that you are saying, I'm not okay with the terms that I've been offered here in this life. You're saying, I'm not prepared to live a life that has been like planned for me and given to me. You're saying, I'm not okay using my skills and my gifts in this prescribed way. I want to do something differently. And I find that so exciting. I also believe that entrepreneurship offers a really unique opportunity for women. Previously it hasn't been safe to be a woman, to be a visible woman. In certain areas of the world, women are still property of men. My mom got her first credit card about 10 years before I was born. Before that, she needed her husband, my dad, to sign to have a credit card. Yeah, this is a unique time in human history where women do have the possibility of growing their own wealth, of growing their own financial independence. And entrepreneurship offers a real pathway for that, because it's still very hard to climb a corporate ladder, whereas actually taking this into your own hands is an opportunity to really create wealth, which I believe, I want to overthrow the capitalist system as much as anyone else. But at the moment, money equals freedom, equals the ability to invest in things you care about, to influence change, to shape communities. So I think it's also really exciting for a number of reasons, yeah. But it is also really brave because it means having to go against this old conditioning, and which is going to set off these alarm bells of fear and threat into the system, yeah. Yeah, women only get 2% of business funding, only 2% of $1 million businesses are women's at the moment, yeah. So we can change that, and we need to start dreaming bigger. But even in order to dream bigger, we need to work with this conditioning that keeps us small, keeps us hiding, keeps us orientating too much towards other people. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I think if you follow this path, hopefully at the end of it, you end up with a really profitable business, yeah? But even if you don't, you will be changed by the process. You will be changed and you'll be showing up differently in the world as a result. Your life will be different, yeah? So it's not just the goal of having a business, which I hope we all do, but it's also the path to a greater freedom in all areas of your life. Yeah. Okay, so that all making sense? Is that all, you still all hearing? Yeah, great. Yeah, great. I'm just going to click through, see you all. Okay, so there's one final thing I want to just say before we get into the embodied exploration, and it's this. Like, you women on this call, if you're here because you've got a big dream and bigger fears, God, you are at such a threshold, yeah? Because lots of people never reach the edges of their conditioning. Lots of people just live safe lives because it's easier, it's safer. You know, there are lots of, if you are here, it's because you're experiencing the rub of being too big for the container in which you are currently caged. And yet to step outside of it means you're going to have to face these fears, you know? So I really recognize that place. I really recognize it. And I think it means you have ambition. I think it means that you are like, you know, threshold breakers. You know, you're carving out new paths. And so I just really wanted to say that you're at this point, and it's a painful point to be at. It's like, either you don't fulfill your dreams, you don't live this path, you give in to the cage, you know, you don't cross the threshold and you stay in the cage. Feels like death, doesn't it? Feels like not living your potential, abandoning yourself, tenable. Or you somehow have to face the fears and cross the path, yeah? And that's frightening. It feels deathly scary. And so I just want to say that my mission is to help women like you cross out of the prison, out of this conditioning, live bigger, bolder, more impactful lives. Yeah. Okay, so let's explore these 3 ways that I see women getting trapped and stuck. And let's do that through the body, because this conditioning, you know, we all know women are conditioned, social conditioning, ideas about what it means to be women, but what few people realize is that it actually shows in the body. You know, these aren't free floating ideas, you know, actually our conditioning shows up in whether we feel able to take up space or not, whether we feel able to, you know, if we absorb someone else's touch or not, you know, it plays out day to day in small interactions of power as we go about our day, whether we shrink, whether we hold ourselves back, whether we don't speak up. Our conditioning shows up in our bodies and is replicated body to body. Yeah. So this is why mindset work is not enough, because you can say, I'm a powerful woman. I'm a powerful woman. If your body is contracted and smallifying, there is no way that is going to become true. Yeah. Okay. So let's find this in the body. So first of all, think of the next scary thing that you need to do in your business. The thing that you've been putting off. Oh, I can see some faces. Yeah, so just thinking of that thing that you think, oh, I should do that, and what happens in your body as you think of doing that. Yeah, so I don't need to know so much the thing, but what do you do in your body when you think of the next scary thing? What is it? What happens in your body? Maybe you, stomach clenches, maybe you stop breathing. What's your breath doing? What's your contact with the ground doing? Clenching teeth, tightening, bite your lip, shallow breaths, shoulders fold in, making yourself smaller, tensing up, heart racing. Yeah. Face flinches. So just taking a somatic snapshot of that. So just taking like a full body picture so you can kind of remember what you're doing when you do that. And just noticing from that embodiment, how possible does doing this thing feel? Not at all. Yeah, not at all. And this is a perfect example of hitting the edges of the conditioning. Yeah. So you dream this thing, I've got to do this next scary thing, and boom, you hit the walls and it takes you here. Once you've got a sense of that, shake it off. We don't want to stay there too long. Yeah. Yeah, I can do it, but clenched and not enjoying it, right? And we want to enjoy our businesses. We want to enjoy our lives. That's the whole point, you know? Yeah, exactly. And yes, it is possible to feel nothing. We can really just disconnect from ourselves as well, so that it can be possible just to go blank. Yeah. Shook it off right away. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to lead through 3 embodied exercises now, reclaiming these parts of ourselves which traditionally we've been exiled from, not allowed to keep hold of, not allowed to embody, and see if that shifts some of this. Yeah, see if this shifts some of this. Before we start, maybe just take a look at the group again. Soft peripheral vision. We're going a little bit into fear, so just kind of, you're in a safe space here with other women. Feel free to move if it's ever too much. Yeah. Okay. We don't want to get stuck there. Okay. So the first way is we get stuck in the cage of prioritizing other people. Yeah, we get stuck in the view that women should put themselves last. The selfless woman is the ideal woman. She literally lacks a sense of self. Yeah. So, and this is going to make it really hard to know what you want, know your own dreams. In terms of business, it makes it very hard to niche, makes it very hard to really come into a sense of what it is that brings you most alive, what you want to serve. Yeah. So I'm just going to try this. I invite you to lean forward, maybe not to the screen, but just to the surroundings. And just move yourself forward as though, you know, what do other people need from me? What do I need to be in order to please other people? What are they looking for, maybe? What do they think? This could also be, what's the right way to do this? What's that other YouTube video? What's that other expert saying? What's the right answer out here in the world? And just noticing, does this feel familiar? Does this feel like a familiar way? Yeah, definitely. And from here, how much of yourself can you really feel? How much? And if I was to come and move you in one direction or another, would you just follow where I took you? Yeah. Yeah, just be careful. That it could be emotional. So just going gently. Yeah. Yeah, pleading energy, feeling pretty small. So this is the first way women get trapped and caged. They get stuck out here, which means it's very difficult to know what it is that we want. Prioritize ourselves, prioritize our businesses. Yeah. Trusting others more than myself. It's what we've been trained to do. the need to be agreeable, exposed and yet disempowered. Yep. Yeah. Really hard to ascertain my own thoughts, my own voice, distrusting myself, easily overwhelmed. Okay, we've got a sense of it. We've got a sense of it. So the way out, coming back to ourselves. So in this very simple example, rocking back on your sit bones with a sense of coming out of other and back to yourself. And you could even bring your arms kind of coming back, scooping yourself, scooping your awareness back to you. You could close your eyes, or if that doesn't feel safe, take a soft downward gaze. Coming back to you. Prioritizing you. And you might find as you do this, what can come up is it's selfish. It's selfish to prioritize me, to come back to me. I'm not doing enough. I need to be useful. So this is the conditioning speaking. This is because you're breaking out of the barrier. Yeah. Feeling into this inner connection, this inner world. You can put your hand on your heart, your belly. Feels calm and too easy. And this is the realm of listening in, re-finding this inner connection, this inner rich landscape inside of ourselves, our inspiration, our vision. I'll talk about this when I talk about the course. But this place of this is where vision comes from. You know, I know a lot of you are like, I'm not quite sure what it is that I want to grow. Fantastic, yeah? You don't have to have it all sorted out. That's such a masculine ideal. That's such a kind of linear process. Whereas actually, you know, babies, seeds, everything that is good grows in the dark, yeah? It grows in this world of not quite sureness, yeah? Of intuition, of deep inspiration. And this is also, and in terms of business and niching and finding what it is that you're going to offer, this is also reconnecting with your own life history, which has value, immense value. This is finding like, gosh, something inside of me, my lived experience is unique and has added up. It has a worth to it, yeah? So it's this coming back to this sort of rich soil, this rich ground of our own being, and creating this safe space to return to and rest. This is also, and again in the bigger course, this is also separating our worth from any achievement or anything outside of us. So this place of kind of connecting to, I am worthy when I'm here, not doing anything, yeah? Just being. So first, we want to do really well in business. We need to kind of know our worth is nothing to do with how many people buy our product or show up to a workshop. It's separating those two things, yeah? Yeah, okay. So just feeling what this is like, seeing if there's a relief here. Taking the information that you need. And noticing the difference from maybe that other habitual way of being. But we don't want to get stuck here. So this is the second way that I see women get stuck and trapped, which is actually we're kind of permissioned to come to this place. For instance, a lot of women I work with maybe after a burnout have found themselves back here, soothing, calming. We're sort of allowed to do this part, you know, we're allowed to do this kind of more yin place. This is kind of the realm also of therapy and things, which is super valuable. But we don't want to stop here, yeah? Because actually we want to reclaim our power, our autonomy, our dignity, yeah? We want to take that rich soil of our ground and all of that deep intuition and felt sense, and we want to be able to come up and take up space in the world. So the second cage is smallness, yeah? It's getting stuck here in shrinking, smallifying. So right now we can just test this out. I want to cross your legs and make yourself small. So I habitually sit so tucked in, yeah? So coming, how you might sit on a bus or a train, or in a meeting. Noticing, does it feel familiar? And again, if I was to come and try and tackle you, push you over, what could you do really to respond from here? How easy is it for you to speak up from this place? How easy would it be for you to say what you wanted from this place? Okay, and just noticing how that feels, if it feels familiar, what it does to your kind of sense of what's possible for you and your business. And then we want to undo this. So I invite you to take your legs a bit wider apart. And if you're seated, take them so they're kind of really connected to the earth. And from here, if it feels safe for you to take your awareness to your kind of pelvic bowl, your womb space, I invite you to. That is not always easy. If that doesn't feel easy, finding another place that feels connected to kind of your gut instinct, a sort of sense of that area. And taking up a little bit more room and feeling into your dream, what you care about, and connecting to a little bit of what won't you stand anymore. What is it in the dream that you voiced earlier that you are sick of, that you don't want to see anymore? You know, I will not tolerate women. I will not tolerate women's talents not being shared with the world anymore. Yeah, feeling a little bit of like, what is it in the thing that you're creating that you're just sick of? And seeing if you can connect with a little bit of fire here, a little bit of that pissed off mama bear kind of energy. And noticing what that does in your body. I've got this image came up earlier this week of like the students in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square, you know, or that beautiful image of that black woman in front of the riot police in that dress. You know, sometimes we're going to have to stand for what we really believe in. Yeah, sometimes we're going to need to advocate for the thing that we care about. Just feeling into that a little bit. What is it in the work that you do that's got some heat to it? You're allowed to own your anger. You're allowed to own your passion. Noticing what that does in your body. And you feel free to share in the chat at any point what you will not tolerate. But from here, you could also then come up to your heart space. And like, what is it that you love here in this work, in this what you want to create? What is it that you love about? I love helping women expand. I love seeing a woman find out that this is not who she is, that there is this other part of her she can reclaim, and then what she goes on to do, you know? What is it that you love about the work that you do? Giving people tools to find freedom and permission to be themselves. Yeah, so feeling into that, feeling into the different quality of that passion, watching people blossom. Yeah. And then finally, we can come up to the crown of our head and think about the ripple effect that it could have. Yeah, so you know, watching people, helping people blossom, you helping people reclaim their authenticity, you giving people tools to find freedom, imagining the ripple effect that you could have in the world. And noticing what this does in your body, taking up a little bit more space. So finding that strength that comes up through the column of the body, crown at the top of the head. And this is really stepping into your sovereignty, being the queen of your kingdom. In terms of the business side of things, this is around stepping into having a CEO mindset, you know, of being able to set boundaries around things that are and aren't important, the ability to stand firm behind what you believe in and line up against your ethics, or like line up in alignment with your ethics. Yeah, this is also the realm where we get to it be okay if we're disliked. Yeah, we put ourselves out into the world, whatever it is we do, we're going to be disliked by someone. So this whole realm is around reclaiming our ability to create safety for ourselves rather than rely on what other people think, because that storm is going to blow. Whatever you do, you cannot please everyone. It is impossible to find safety here. So how do we reclaim the ability to hold that for ourselves? Yeah. Yeah. And to protect our dream and to advocate for our dream. Yeah. To say, no, this is important. So that I'm not going to do that. This is creating an offer. This is trusting our instincts. This is having the determination to keep going when it's not easy, to show up to commitments, yeah, to not be too flexible. And just noticing from here, if you can feel into all of that, what does this part have to say about the fear that you were worrying about earlier? To really kind of feel into this sovereign, rooted, feet on the ground, crown on your head. What does this part of you have to say about those fears that were whipping up earlier? Maybe it has a different perspective on them. What fear? Right? And the things that, giving my body a felt sense of strong sensitivity from the inside. Exactly. Oh my God, thank you for that comment. I want women to be generative rather than consumptive. We are told that we are just consumers, we are sold to all the time, but there is something inside of us that we want to bring out into the world. We want to be creators rather than consumers, yeah? So we have this sense that there is something inside of me which has value, which I'm going to bring out into the world. Yeah, yes, yeah. I feel like I don't care what people think of me. Women together are so powerful. Exactly. I'm strong enough to manage this. Beautiful. Okay, so final way in which women get caged is holding back and hiding, yeah, of not sharing ourselves with the world. It's like we stand behind a screen. We don't want to be seen for good reason. You know, historically, it's not been safe to be a visible woman. Taking up space has not been safe. So again, this in business, if you're going to be successful in business, whatever way that you choose to do it, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You don't have to do a video. There are all sorts of different business models and different ways of doing it, but you are going to have to become visible because people are going to have to find you. Yeah. You're going to have to share yourself with the world. And that goes against this conditioning to stay hidden, stay small, not be too visible. So it can be very frightening. Posting on Instagram, going live, writing to your mailing list, growing a mailing list, marketing yourself, sharing yourself, saying to someone, hey, I've got this thing that could help you. Yeah. Yeah. Valuing ourselves enough to charge for it. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, where I'm running out of time. So, in this part of the course, we do lots of marketing reframes because marketing does not have to be the icky, horrible thing that you imagine that it is. We don't have to create false needs. We don't have to do all horrible techniques. We just have to shine our light. So I'll offer this. I did this in the mini series, but we'll do it again. Imagine marketing being that you are a lighthouse on a stormy sea, or that you are an oasis in a desert. And there are people right now out there that are searching for you. And your job is to make it really easy for them to find you. That's all. You don't need to go out there. You don't need to like push. You don't need to like, it's like you need to lay really clear markers that are going to help people find their way to you. Yeah. For me, that changes everything, because I get the idea that I go out, like I go, oh God, I'm so exhausted, I just want to lay down. But if I think, actually, I just need to make it really easy for someone to find me and to approach me, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. So from this place where we just came with this, our passion and our love, let's just take up a bit of space. So I invite you to just take your arms out and wide. Yes, feel so burnt out with marketing and advertising. There's no need for it to have to be that way. So see if you can just soften here. So rather than softening, and I always teach this, is that we can turn the hands back in towards ourselves. God, I'm so imperfect. You know, I do not have all the answers. I have not got this, you know, nailed. But I have got enough to be seen and to help. You know, and you can imagine right now a woman in your life, therapist, counselor, masseuse, life coach, someone in your life who you've been positively impacted by. Yeah, someone whose work helped you transform. And then imagine if she had never been findable. Yeah, what if she had never been made herself visible and you'd never found her? Like you, thank you, you are that someone to someone else. Yeah. If I hadn't done this work, if I hadn't like worked through this process myself and been able to do this, I wouldn't be here shining this light for you. And I think it's beneficial. Yeah. So you are that for someone else. Yeah. And we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to, you know, we're taught there's an external standard. We have to meet it. We just have to meet the external standard and then we get a gold star, whether that's in school grades or the way that we look or the way that we live. We just have to get it right and then we get a gold star. Yeah. That's, you know, I've never arrived at that place. And in entrepreneurship, there is no getting it right. It is completely experimentation. Yeah. It's just play and it's failure. You know, to be an entrepreneur or a business person, we need to be inspired and we need to be prolific. And that means not succeeding over and over again. Yeah. It's like, there's a really famous Michael Jordan quote where he just talks about, I've missed this many shots. I've taken the like critical shot in these many games and missed, you know, and that's why it's so good. And that's really the case in entrepreneurship. We just have to try and play and fail. I don't know if this is going to be a success, you know, maybe it will be, maybe it'll be a raging success, maybe it won't be, but it's like, I'll try it, I'll learn from it, it'll be different next time. So it really, another way that really goes against the way that women have been caged to live by other people's standards. Yeah. And my God, a B- effort is enough. B-, we're all so got to get it perfect, can't have a fail, you know, got to be the best, you know, this competition between women, all of that. That's my final point. Firstly, a B- effort is enough. If you find something that really works, then you can polish it, you know, but in the first take, we just do it, just get it out there. And then the final thing is we don't have to do it alone. Yeah. There's the whole thing of the, you know, self-made millionaire or the overnight success or the American dream, you make it on your own, is just bullshit. It's just not true. And women historically divide and conquer, you know, that we must be in competition with one another, that there's not enough to go around. And if she's successful, there's less for me. Nonsense, yeah. We do this together, we rise together. Yeah. So let's just do that finally as a final thing, and then I'll move on, tell you about my course and announce the prize winners. The final thing, let's take up our space, and you can do hands in or hands out, yeah? Oh, actually, firstly, let's come back to this place. Let's come back to ourselves. Let's do the whole thing, back to ourselves. away from other people, back to ourselves, feeling what we won't tolerate, feeling what we love, imagining the ripple effect, being a lighthouse or an oasis in the desert, and then taking up our space, being the sovereigns, the CEOs of our lives and our businesses. And then from this place, just taking one another in on this screen, feeling how permissioned it can be, how supportive it can be to see this. I'm going to click through to see women taking up their space. Notice how it can support you to go even bigger. Yeah. We're all taking up our space and I don't feel shrunk by any of it. There's room for us all to shine, yeah? We can support one another to shine. And we can see each other in our queendom, in our sovereignty. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And so from here, going back to that original fear, going back to how you arrived, and noticing what might have shifted, what might have changed just in this last 40 minutes. What might feel possible now that didn't before. Yeah, awesome women. Yeah, more value to my dream. Tangible, calmer, relaxed, trust my intuition more. Taking a risk. Asking for support. Oh, move from I have to I have the privilege to. Yeah, that's a beautiful point. So I'll just say that, you know, you're all on a Zoom call. You know, that means you're in the top 1% of the world to have the amount of political freedom, time freedom, you know, the amount of, you know, the technology, to have all of that. This is one of the teachings from my Buddhist teacher. She starts every retreat like this. She goes through all the things that must be in place to have your health, to have the conditions, you know, all of that to be on a Zoom call. You know, what a privileged position. And like, how can we capitalize on that? How can we capitalize on that in order to make the world a better place for other women that don't yet have those opportunities? Yeah. So that's a good point. We have the privilege to, and we get to transform ourselves and our corner of the world as we do it. Beautiful. Okay, so what we've done today and what we've done in the mini series has been around state change, has been around kind of how do we shift our state moment to moment, yeah? And it's really possible. So we have this habitual shape conditioning that's come down to us, and we can change that and move into a different way of being, and we can shift our state, as you've just seen, very quickly. If we want to make long-term, you know, tangible change, if we want to, it's like we're going to the gym and we want to build these muscles, then we need to practice over time. We need to really embed this, and then these state changes become trait changes. So that's what I did. You know, I did a huge amount of different practices, including taking up karate, to really build different ways of being. And if we do that, what we find is they become more habitual, more in our bodies, and that they become the sort of more default way of being. We'll always be nice, beautiful women. You know, I'm always going to be a watery, soulful woman, but I've trained this other way of being, which means that I can have more choice in that now. I can choose a way of being. So so that is why I put together this beautiful course, which I'm going to share with you now, because we need to practice over time collectively in order to really shift these patterns, in order to really change things. So I'm going to just quickly share my screen. I'm going to talk you through the course and see if it might be a fit for you. It's a 6-week embodied journey in sisterhood like this, and it's broken down into those 3 key ways in which women are trapped. Yeah, so it's broken into those 3, coming out of, I can't remember what I called it now. Can you see the screen? Yeah, great. So yeah, the first phase is breaking free of being other orientated and returning to ourselves. Phase 2, escaping the cage of smallness and reclaiming our dignity and our power. And phase 3, crossing the threshold of hiding into unapologetically shining our gifts into the world. So each phase has 2 weeks to it, and a bonus guest webinar by some of the most amazing embodiment teachers that I value and respect and work with myself. So the first 2 weeks is all about that yummy coming back to ourselves, inner connection. It's around all of that stuff around rest, separating our worth from other people's opinions, separating our worth from doing actually and just being, letting go of needing external approval, breaking the habit of looking outward for answers, learning to listen to our intuition, to come into our inner knowing. And Rachel Blackman, the like queen of soulful creativity and kind of magical spaces, is going to come, and she's doing a whole thing around how our vision actually comes from the dark. So those of you who aren't quite sure like what you're bringing into being yet, like this is the sort of part for you. We don't need to be ready, we don't need to have it all figured out before we act in the world. Yeah. Module 2, another 2 weeks and another bonus webinar, is all about that rediscovering power. So we just briefly touched on it now, but there's so much more. So power, capacity, learning to create safety from in here, learning to value that which comes up and out of us rather than being consumptive, learning to be less concerned about other people's responses to us, their opinions, reclaiming our right to take up space, becoming the sovereign of our work. CEO, having boundaries, being prepared to have tough conversations. And Roma Pilgman is going to come in that week. She's a karate sensei. She's also a woman in a man's world. She works in sort of digital IT, things that I really don't understand. She's been a sensei for decades, and she trains, I was trying to book an interview with her, she trains like 4 or 5 nights a week, and she's going to come in and teach self-defense and contacting our power, and how when we do that, that really can transform our lives and the way that we're showing up. And then module 3 is all about expressing ourselves. So another 2 weeks, and that's this time it's like taking this thing that we've created from our imaginations and bringing it out and crossing that threshold out into the world. It's about feeling safe, being more visible. We'll do all the marketing reframes and the marketing work in that section. It's going to be about collaborating and how that's a feminine way of growing a business, is working together. And Liz Peters is going to come in that week. She's an actress, she's a master of improv, and she's going to come in and talk about or lead us through how to fail and fail well, celebrating failure, play, innovation, and how we can bring all of that into our lives and our businesses. And then there'll be a final session where it will come all the way down, and we'll really break it into like, what are the steps required to build a successful business? And really, like, this is the foundation upon which you can then take any business strategy or anything and place it on top of it. Yeah. So what I see all the time is we have all the strategies, we have all the knowledge, and yet if we don't undo this conditioning, we can't actually implement them. We can't get into action. We get stuck. So really, this course is about really finding the foundations in your being in order to keep expanding, keep growing. There'll be weekly co-working space where we can just come together for a dedicated hour to do the scary thing together. There'll be a little bit of embodiment at the start, a commitment, and then we'll just do that thing together, because it's easier when you've got it in your diary and you've got other women around you. There'll be questions and Q&As along the way, a Facebook group and a community portal to keep in touch. There's support up until the end of the year. So all the teaching will be done in 6 weeks, but there's support right up until the end of the year, and actually a mini retreat in January just to come back and really start 2022 differently. And then there's some bonuses as well. Yeah, and then there's some bonuses. So the first 5 people to join, I've just said they'll get a one-to-one with me, just to to thank you for jumping in quickly and for supporting me, get a free one-to-one session with me. If you join within the first 24 hours, there's 2 small group coaching sessions that will happen during the course. And within the first 48, you get free access to my amazing membership until the end of the year, just for an additional space to be supported in this work. It's a really beautiful kind of love of my life. You get the live purpose sessions that's pre-recorded, the 3 guest webinars and a half-day retreat in January. And then just to be really transparent about it, this is the first time I'm putting all this work together into a course. So I'm offering it half the price that I think it's actually worth, because it felt good to my integrity and it felt good to honor that. So it's $749 for the regular place, or $999 if you want 2 one-to-ones with me through the time, really to get clear and sort out your particular things that you want to nail in your business. And there are payment plans available as well. You can split the payment 3 ways if that's needed. And if you need an additional payment plan, do feel free to email me. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else that I need to share about that, Jamie? All the details are on the website, which is now live, which Jamie is going to share in the chat. I think that is it. So 6-week journey, 15 hours of content, different. I'm holding back on it will be Tuesday evenings 6 till 7:15 for the main teaching from me, and then the bonus webinars and the Q&As and the co-working sessions. I'm going to wait to see who books and what time zones they're in, and then we'll find one that works for most of the people that join. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the course. That's putting it all together, and I hope that some of you resonate and that you would love to join. And now just comes the part about announcing the winners. So now you know what the amazing the course is, and how you can what you're getting. I'll announce who's won it. So yeah, so dun, 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 dun. And then I'll do Q&As if anyone's got Q&As, questions either about the course or anything else that we've covered. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. I wish I had a drum roll. The Community Champion Prize, which was for posting in the group, commenting on other people's, encouraging other people. And that was 3 of my favorite books on this subject, which are Untamed by Glennon and Doyle. This is the Bible of this work. I'm tempted to do a book club at some point on this. Untamed by Glennon and Doyle. Playing Big by Tara Moore. Comes without the big teacup stain on the front of it. And Rage Becomes Her. And that goes to Tracy Roberts. She's on the call. 3 books. Oh yeah, I can see you, Tracy. Yeah. So I'll be in touch about how to get those to you. And yeah, so congratulations. And thank you for being such a beautiful presence in the group this week. Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah. Okay, a one-to-one with me for sharing the challenge and webinar went to Kayla. Oh my goodness, I think she posted every single day and got lots of people in. So yeah, so one-to-one to Kayla. Thank you very much. And a place in my beautiful membership until the end of the year for just taking part and doing all the different challenges went to Maria Jordan. I don't know if Maria is on the screen. But yeah, well done. Welcome into the membership. It's a beautiful space to be. And another one-to-one with me for taking part, for doing it all, went to Jo Byron Russell. She's on the call anywhere. Well done. Oh, not well done, but yeah. And then finally, the big one, who has won a place on the full course for taking part, went to Tracy Hackett. She's on the call anywhere. Ah, Tracy. So I'll see you in the course, in the full course, and it starts in November. So yeah, congratulations. And yeah, beautiful. So thank you all for taking part. Thank you all for joining in and sharing, and do keep sharing about the work, and do come into the course. I promise you, if you do the course, by 2022, you will be stepping into your businesses in a very different way. It will change not just the way you're showing up in your business, but in your life. You know, I promise it will shift so much of this conditioning. If you're feeling stuck in procrastination, it's guaranteed to move you through it. So yeah, so do come and join, and can't wait to go on the adventure with you all. So yeah, so thank you all, and I will hang around now for anything that anyone wants to say or any questions that anyone has. Yeah, so feel free to either pop your questions in the chat or raise your hand, and let's just hang out now. Oh, you're all welcome. Yeah, you're also welcome. And prize winners will be, me and Jamie will be in touch over the next few days to sort that out.
Do you want me to stop recording for the Q&A bit?
No, it's fine. We can record it because there might be other people with questions or anything like that.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. We can. Yeah, there'll be a recording if you arrive late. Don't worry at all. So yeah, anyone got any questions? Oh, I saw this question earlier. I don't know, Kayla, about EFT. It is embodied. It does have embodied elements to it, I would say. I don't feel qualified to answer a question about that. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, and feel free to post one thing that you're taking away. That would be great to hear as well. What if the dreams are not clear enough? I would say, you know, if this is about the course, I would say you could still come and do the course, because the whole first module is about that. It's about this kind of this idea that we have to have it crystal clear, that we have to have it ready before we start to explore it. Whereas actually a lot of finding out what the vision is or what the dream is kind of in the playing with it out in the world, in the experimenting. You know, we sort of follow a path where it becomes clear. So I would say, you know, there's that deep body listening, there's that cutting out external influence and coming back to ourselves. And then from there, it's then playing with it and putting it into action and kind of finding a way, I think. So yeah, I would say I wasn't really clear. I don't know if I was like, I'm going to do this, you know. I sort of was like, I've got this idea that I think is a thing, and I want to start, and I started communicating it. And then women started saying, oh my God, that's me. And then we sort of collaboratively kind of created something which I now offer, you know. And then more recently it's gone into the business world, but also I'm also doing something around boundaries, you know. So there's that sort of, you find your way on the path as well, I think. That would be my response to that. But sometimes I think we have to sit and like get really clear on our dreams internally, and I think that can be kind of hard sometimes. Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful reading your oh, you're so welcome. Oh, I feel like I moved through some of the grander fears. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, Heidi, what would you like to know about the course content? Kayla, talk a bit about pilot or test groups to safely try ideas. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, so I think it was 2 years ago. I just got groups together of my friends to talk about women niceness, and I hadn't clearly mapped my 3 stages yet. But there was this thing that I was becoming aware of, and so I just got groups of women together to talk about it. And I recorded those conversations, and then I followed threads of them. And yeah, I would really encourage you to do it, and just take it as experiment and play, you know, see what works, see what doesn't work. Start with your friends if that's the stage that you're at, and get your friends to tell their friends. You know, it starts as a snowball. That's where I started, you know, beginning to explore all of this. Yeah. Yes, so Heidi, there's going to be videos, there's going to be, I haven't thought about worksheets just because I don't operate via worksheets, but there might well be worksheets. There will be pre-recorded videos that you can do in your own time. There'll be a live weekly call where we'll go over material. Everything will be recorded for you to catch up on demand if you can't attend live. But each week there's like a chunk of the key things that I believe break these kind of break the cages of the conditioning. There'll be key movements, key reflections, and then videos to practice in between to really kind of cement and build that muscle over the 6 weeks that build upon each other, which you can practice, you know, in your own time for different periods of time each week. Yeah. Hang on, let me just check if there's anything else I want to say to Heidi's question. Yeah, and then there's the guest webinars, and then each week there'll be a co-working space where we can put that together. You know, we can take the embodied exercises from that week, connect with them, and then put them into practice to actually do tangible, practical things like the next scary thing that you need to do in your business. We can do it in that hour where you've got the support of the other women around you and a bit of an embodied exercise to support you. Yeah. Much love to all the people that are going. I can understand. The purpose videos was a series that I did a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago now, which was all around this area around purpose. So that's also really helpful. That series, which is available straight away as soon as you book, is a really good intro for those of you that are like, oh, I'm not quite sure what the thing is, you know, that it's a more orientated towards to finding your purpose, living purposefully, finding the thing that you love. Yeah. So what proportion of the time will be dedicated to embodiment work? Most of it. Yeah, so this is an embodiment course. It's not a business strategy course. It's not, this is the things that I think you need to be able to know and build through the body in order to do exactly what you're saying, consciously build more safety in my body. So it will be predominantly embodiment, but with a focus on how that applies to being a entrepreneur. Yeah, so it'll be like making sense of that in the world of business entrepreneurship and how we could apply it, where we need to use it, why we might be encountering a lack of safety at different points because we're bumping up against our conditioning. But yeah, it's an embodiment course, and then through it I'll share my experience of thousands of hours now around business and things. Yeah. Yes. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Will I be running it again sometime in the year? Yes, I will, and it will probably not be this price. So I just really wanted to honour that this was the first time that I am putting this together. I'm very confident in it, and I wanted to be in integrity with the fact that this is a kind of pilot. So it will be more than this next time, I highly imagine. But yes, if it's a success, which I hope and imagine that it will be, I will indeed be running it again next year. Yeah. Are there things that you have done to get me where I am? Yes, everything I'm talking about now. I took up karate for a while to build this range over time, and learning to do these things that I've outlined in this webinar. And so in this webinar, it's like I've given you like a taster of it, and then behind each of those kind of states is this whole realm way in which you can work with this to build this into your system. Yeah, a whole kind of different exercises, practices that you can do, which I can go more into in the course, to build that. Essentially though, I've worked on those 3 areas over and over again through different ways, and I've done the scary things and not died. Yeah, keep showing up to the fear and not letting it, recognizing it as conditioning, not you. Yeah, if you only take one thing from this webinar, I really just want women to take away, like, you are not self-sabotaging. There's nothing wrong with you. It's you're meeting the edges of a previous safety zone. That's all. And that you can learn to expand your capacity to feel safe in like bigger and bigger ways. And that if you do that, you can grow a successful business. Yeah, so a quick fix to get out of feeling life or death would be coming back and taking up more space. So if you imagine, like, when it feels like life and death, everything contracts, and you get that exacerbates the feeling of fear, and that's going to flood the body with stress hormones. Like, that's why when women sit tucked in, we're actually just really stressed a lot of the time as a base level arousal. So the first thing that you could do is expand, just think expansion, and that will shift the fight and flight. So even if it's soft peripheral vision, wide vision, everything going outwards, taking up width, even if you're not physically able to do it, uncrossing your legs, putting your hands on your knees, wide peripheral vision, that will start to really diminish that fear response. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you, everyone that's saying goodbye. There are a number of courses that you can do to become an embodied facilitator. I can share that in the group. Yep. I need to tattoo something on my forehead. Oh yeah, I'm just seeing a private message. I'm sorry that you didn't know that beforehand. Hopefully next time. Yeah. What's happening in your regular membership? Lots of things. we do 4 things a month. There's a workshop from me and a workshop from a guest, a community night, and weekly meditation. Oh, and a monthly dance session. Thanks, Jamie. Jamie's just going, yeah, and a monthly dance session that we do in the membership. It's a beautiful space, and it only opens a few times a year. Yeah. Yes, you get your lifetime access. Yeah, so I'll just give you the recordings once it's done, and you'll have access to that. And I really recommend that you come back to it over and over again. There's also you know, I don't think we stop bumping up against the edges of this conditioning. We just, you know, I can host a webinar now for 100 people, or, you know, okay, I did 1,000 people a few months ago, 1,000 people, okay. If I then had to do a TED talk, next level of I'll bump up against that again, you know. I'm comfortable with the idea of having a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business. Okay, I can feel the edges of that again now, you know. So really what is in this course is like laying a pattern or a way of being that you can keep coming back to each time you expand. And I just want you to just keep expanding forever, you know. So you're going to keep coming up against those edges, and then you're going to keep using these techniques to move beyond them. Yeah. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Yes, yeah, no, nothing wrong with you, and just meeting the edges of your conditioning. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all the questions. If you have any more, feel free to email me. I'd love to still see you all in the group. Next week, I'm going to be doing some interviews with Rachel Blackman, Roma and Liz around their offerings to this course. And I'm sure I'll do a few other things in that group, because I've just had a great time. I've had a great time in that group this last week. We got to like 1 o'clock on Saturday, and I was like, I'll just go live in the group. So yeah, if you haven't made your way over there, please do. A beautiful group of women supporting one another, and yeah, you'll hear from me more in there and over the next few weeks. So feel free to reach out and be in touch. And yeah, maybe Jamie, if you could just share the link again for anyone that wants to check out all the details of the course and how to book. It's going to be open for the next week for people to sign up. So you've got time to think it through, think if it's right for you, and it will be on sale until next Monday. Yeah, great. Okay, well, thank you all so much. I hope you've taken something that's valuable from this, and I hope that you tell other women about it. And if you hear the word self-sabotage, just tell them that's bullshit. That's a way of blaming women for something that's never been their fault, and that it's not them, they're not doing it to themselves, and it is possible to break free. Yeah, I just want that message spread as wide as possible. Okay, you beautiful lot, take care. And yeah, I'll be in touch. See you all. Bye.